The Staten Island Museum traces its beginnings to 1881, when a group of 14 young naturalists on Staten Island had the foresight to pool their collections and research efforts out of a concern that the rapid growth of the community obliterated many of its most interesting natural objects. Their goal was to keep a record for future generations against the anticipated loss of plant and animal species and to advocate for environmental preservation long before it was fashionable to do so. 150 years later, the Staten Island Museum maintains and continues to build its collection of authentic specimens, photographs, and field notes, providing an unbroken record of the changing biodiversity of the region. Our collection has expanded to include works of art and important historic documents, creating a mini Smithsonian that is focused on providing a cultural education for anyone who walks through its doors.
The Staten Island Museum is unique. It's the only general interest museum in the city. We maintain a collection for natural history, art, and history. So there is a lot of different components of our collection, and we want to tell a great story of Staten Island, as well as some other important pieces, such as portraits and different pieces of art that we've collected, pieces from antiquity from different parts of the world. We have a lot of different items that we've been holding on to, preserving and conserving, but unfortunately we don't have the space to display.
I'm very excited to talk today about the expansion of the Staten Island Museum, which has been over 50 years in the making. The museum on Stuyvesant Place was built in the early 1910s, maybe 1918, and was quickly too small. So we outgrew the building in the 1950s, and we've been looking for a new home. And Snug Harbor Cultural Center, which has the largest stand of Greek Revival buildings in the Northeast, was slated for demolition actually in the 1960s. And through the efforts of Mayor Lindsay, Snug Harbor was saved from demolition. So in 1965, this Snug Harbor Cultural Center campus became the first landmark property by the newly formed Landmarks Commission. And in the early 1970s, buildings A and B were slated by Mayor Lindsay for habitation by the Staten Island Museum.
We're embarking on a really fantastic project. We received $25 million from New York City to rehabilitate and construct a state-of-the-art museum in the Building A of Snug Harbor Cultural Center. The original founders of the Staten Island Museum were really focused on conservancy and protecting the environment of Staten Island, and we want to maintain that legacy by outfitting Building A with geothermal well fields and being LEED certified gold. We believe that we're not just honoring the spirit of their legacy, but we're actually enhancing it and giving back to the community what they believe was really important, and of course what we believe is important as well.
This is the mechanical room, which feeds the geothermal well, which goes out to a field. And the geothermal field outside has a huge loop that has vertical and horizontal pipes going through it. They go down about 500 feet, and the vertical just runs across the whole field. And what's good about that is it maintains the temperature of the loop at around 55 degrees.
The Building A facility will now be museum quality climate controlled, which now we can exhibit not just our pieces, but pieces that we can get on loan from other cultural institutions. This is something that we've not been able to do because of the condition of our facility in the St. George Stuyvesant Place museum building that we're in now. This will give us a unique opportunity to pull in different items to tell the story, not just of Staten Island, but maybe more broadly, the different parts of New York City, as well as maybe the whole region itself.
So the building is affording an additional 10,000 square feet of program and exhibition space, which may not sound like a lot, but compared to what we have at Stuyvesant Place, which is under 2,500, we're 4 times bigger at this new location. So the visitors who are coming up the front steps will enter through a vestibule, a glass vestibule, which is important to maintain the temperature control for the new building. And you'll be welcomed into our lobby area, which also has our Staten Island Lost and Found biodiversity exhibit in it. So right from the beginning, you're going to see what the museum has to offer in the way of our natural heritage collection, as well as our arts and sciences. Our auditorium is one level below our entrance level, and it's also where we accommodate school groups and our visitors who are handicapped and need wheelchair accessibility through the ground level. But the auditorium is a new space that we'll have to welcome 123 people at a time for programs and concerts and films. This building will house new exhibits that have been in storage for so many years. People are going to see a new exhibit about the biodiversity of Staten Island. It's going to be sort of launched through the extinction of the mastodon, which did roam Staten Island. We have a leg bone, we have a molar to prove. Mastodons roam Staten Island, and we're going to have this great biodiversity exhibit that's going to showcase our collection and why people should become aware of extinction, how things become extinct, why should we care. And so it takes kind of a global issue to a local level using the Staten Island Museum's collection. We also will have a great exhibit called Staten Island Scene, which features landscapes and seascapes from a permanent collection and also newly commissioned work by living artists. And we'll also have an exhibit called The Treasure Box, which is sort of a cultural mashup because Staten Island is a seaport. There are beautiful, wonderful things brought here from all over the world. And it not only features these things in the collection, but how they came to be at the Staten Island Museum.
We have the ability to showcase different items in one place that many other museums don't have that ability to do. We can blend natural science, history, and the arts in a way that if you wanted to see that total experience, you would not get it anywhere else. You can certainly get pieces of it in different institutions, cultural institutions, but you would not get the whole overall effect. We can tell a fantastic story just from history and augmenting it with some of the items in our collection to make it an immersive type of experience. We want to engage you. We want to come there. We want to see what we have to offer. We want to see what our next exhibit's going to be. That's the excitement that we generate for you so you can come to the museum and have an experience unlike anything else that you can have in this city.
Today, just as the day it was founded over 130 years ago, the Staten Island Museum is dedicated to preserving the environment for future generations.